gonna
Do you hear
start
me, guys?
recording.
But won't we have like feedback loop? By
No,
talking.
No,
Professor.
Last time it worked. It worked. Somehow it worked. So no worries about that. The only thing that you have to do is to open Telegram and afterwards just lower the volume of your cell phone, and that will work.
Okay.
Yep. It's
So,
open in Telegram now, and it's
so
live on Twitch.
Frickton,
Yes, sir.
you're gonna
Yeah.
moderate, right?
No, I'm gonna kickstart it and then hand it over. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Are we okay on Telegram? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm already speaking right here. This is awesome. We have this figured out completely. Yes. Uh, is Richie there? Richie, are you there, man?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. Both places.
Okay, just guys, just like a minute, and we're gonna start in 30 seconds or something like that. Okay.
You gotta lower the volume of the Discord. Remember.
Are you?
Lower the volume of the Discord. So and with that way we don't have the feedback.
Are you having feedback from me?
I can.
Okay. Now,
What about from me? Okay.
just a minute. Just a minute to figure this out. Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna set
All right. I can't join TikTok though. Okay.
Hello.
All right.
How about now? Do you still hear a feedback loop from my side? Okay.
Beautiful.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Super cool. Hey, welcome everybody.
Okay, great. That was a surprise. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. We loved it.
Well done.
So it was amazing. Okay. Always funny to sync with you, Freak, with the community. And that was very cool. Do you do that? Like like how do you do that?
the program's open, but the sound part.
Okay. Okay, amazing. So welcome guys to this town hall meeting. Thank you. We see the Rabbit King, Machinar, Melendro, Dap Rachel, DJ Blue, SpongeBob, Raymond, hi Raymond, Roxer, Insomniac, Dr. Sadak, Emil, of course, all of us. Guys, this is our second town hall meeting, and we have like many things that are going on in the community. But first, I want to do the like this official presentation of Lega's founder, which is in this call. Some of you may know him from before, from the past calls that we had, from the materials of Lega. But I know that many of you don't know him yet. So we have Carlos Metacan that is here in this call. And what I would like to do first is that maybe we can do a quick like intro, and maybe Carlos, you can say hi to for everybody in the community to get to know you first. Then we can move from there.
Sure thing. Happy to do that. Welcome, everybody. Really appreciate you being here and taking the time for us to get to know each other. On my side, Carlos Rene. So basically, today in this conversation, I hope to be able to connect with you guys more so on the cultural aspect of why we're doing DEGA. Of course, we can talk any engineering you'd like to, but more so than that, I think that, as I always say, technology is are just tools for us to be able to reach certain goals. So, sorry.
No, go on, please.
Okay, yeah. So that's basically it. But before I jump into all of that, just a quick intro on my side. I've been doing computer science for over 13 years now. I've been in the blockchain industry for over 5 years. I created my own software development agency. We've deployed layer ones, side chains, all sorts of smart contracts for DeFi applications, NFT applications, and different types of solutions on top of it. Besides that, I also did work for over a year with IOHK as well, helping them design their architecture for the Sidechains program initiative. So me and my team have worked across the board in terms of technologies, right? Everything from the original Bitcoin to working with EVM systems, such as Ethereum itself and the several different forks, and the Cardano ecosystem as well. So the reason that we decided to create DEGA is because of our own frustrations within the work that we do, in the sense that we love this industry, but from a developer perspective, it's a really painful experience to get anything done within blockchain. And from an end user perspective, I don't know about y'all, but every time that I have to create a new passphrase with 24 words, it's like one of the most painful experiences I can imagine in terms of using a digital system, right? So it's we believe it's time to take the Web3 technology to the next stage, right? To make it seamless, to make it some people also call it invisible, in the sense that you're there for the application, not so much for the technology itself. Like the way we're right now using the internet, and within the internet, we're using several different protocols, HTTP, we're using SSL for encryption. Nobody here could care less about that, right? We're here because, people in this conversation want to connect. So that's where we want to take Web3 into, right? Like a generation in which I'm here because I want to connect with you, I want to play games with you, I want to create art with you, not so much because I need to learn, how to hook up my MetaMask to some new chain that was deployed, right? Other than that, the reason we are in DEGA, we're focused on gaming and metaverses, is because we believe that that's the gateway to onboarding people to the digital worlds, right? Like, or what we would call the metaverse. And before going into even further context, let's set up a basis for what the metaverse is. Because if you ask 100 people, they'll all say different things. Nobody owns, the right to coin what something means in that sense. But for all conversations around what DEGA is, metaverse means blurring the lines between physical and virtual worlds. That's what we're talking about. And well, actually, I just say digital worlds, not necessarily virtual in that sense. But that's what metaverse means for us. So gaming is the what we call the gamer nation is a digitally native society, right? I don't need to go into details explaining to a gamer why a digital asset has value, right? He just gets it, right? I mean, if you ask a gamer, he'll say like, of course, a digital asset has value. So they're already halfway there to be onboarded. And the other reason is because we believe that as we move forward in the coming years, um, everything will be gamified, right? Probably a good example of this is Duolingo, how it gamifies learning a new language. But there's tons of educational applications out there. There's health applications right now to monitor your health, to challenge you to do exercise that are all fully gamified. And that'll be a trend that'll be intensifying as we move forward. And we want to be at the forefront of that, right? With DEGA, from a technological aspect, one, and two, from a cultural aspect, because we're all about empowering people in emerging markets. The reason being, emerging markets is where there's a vast amount of creative potential that's being squandered right now, right? Um, it's not being pushed forward to the maximum, right? So through these technologies that we're all calling the metaverse, including blockchain, AI, um, VR, AR, and so forth, through these technologies, we will equalize the capabilities of people in emerging markets to be able to showcase their talent, to be able to tell their stories to the world, and also, quite honestly, just to be able to make a better living for themselves, right? So that's kind of like, let's say, the 30,000 foot view of what we're all about in DECA.
Okay, okay. I really like this kind of conversation because we have so much to say in Dega that only one question had like so many angles and so many like the perspective of the gaming, right, and the emerging markets and the blockchain problems and all those things that are happening that make me think and believe that like Dega's growth eases towards those problems, to those market segments, and the adoption angle is right on the spot. You know what I mean? It's right in the place. So thank you, Carlos, for that. We have plenty, like many more questions, but I would like to introduce you to you also, Richie. In the case with Richie, I would like him to do a quick intro. Richie um, is like has so much experience in the industry that you wouldn't believe it. Like so much experience. He's connected to probably like all around the world with gaming and blockchain communities. He has been great joining like Dega's team with all his perspective, his understanding, recommendations, and many other things. But I would like to hear from you, Richie, two things. First of all, like to do a quick introduction from your gaming and blockchain side. And the second thing is, what do you see in Dega that make you join Dega, right? What were the components and the things that you said? Because it's important for the rest of the community to understand our whys. We are coming into the community, right? So, what was the thing that clicked for you to join Dega?
Researching, I got involved first into crypto because of Bitcoin back then when it was like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Litecoin, and there was no Ethereum. There was not even the idea yet of Web3 gaming. But then Ethereum came out, and that was also quite interesting for me because I saw the new possibilities that you can build with blockchain technology, or not only blockchain but decentralized technology, right? Decentralized ledgers, and then how it became more than just payments, but actually it went into identity and now even into gaming, metaverses, and decentralized governance. All that really excited me, and I started contributing with different projects, building communities. And something that I see unique in DEGA is the cultural aspect of how we are trying to empower emerging markets. How similar to basically what got me interested first in Bitcoin was the idea of remittances. How right now, basically, there are big corporations that take all the money from the people that have the least and send money back home, right? People, I'm from Costa Rica, so people in the US all the time sending money back to their homes when they're working abroad. And then huge corporations taking a big cut of that remittance. So that is something that I see also unique in Dega, how it's not about, you know, the all the different things that people believe in the current crypto industry, more about maybe making a quick buck, but it's actually about empowering people that have the capabilities, but need maybe the tools and the guidance to really make a difference in their life, and that is something that speaks to me very deeply because I also want to help people to become the best version of themselves. And I think that is something that DEGA is looking for, looking to achieve, and it just resonates with me very strongly. On that, mm, I'm I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm unmuted in Telegram. Maybe something about the noise canceling or yeah. Okay. Mm,
It is
sorry
because you
about
have
that.
a new phone, Richie.
Yeah, that's why I'm still getting used
Your
to
your
it.
your phone is too new for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, just
Okay, I'll
kidding.
figure it
Uh,
out. Thank you.
yeah, no worries, no worries. Most of the people are listening to also in here in Discord. Well, in Discord. So no worries. So thank you, Richie. Yeah, very interesting. Your like all your experience is very important for the community, and your inputs really are making a difference. So yeah, and also all the connections that you have in the gaming industry, which are really important. So yeah, to do this quick set of introductions, would like to ask you, Alejo, how's it been for the last 2 3 weeks? We have seen great improvements in our community and the ambassador program. Uh, One of the key things that I'm seeing in all our community channels is that we have a very active community. We have talked a lot about that. That was and that is what we want regarding every people that comes into the community that is someone that cares. We know that in the future we're going to have a lot of people that would just come to see around and to see how like if this has potential or not. But the foundation and the core of the community is these fundamental things that we have to focus on building now. So how you're seeing all the ambassador program, the community development, your conversations, downboardings, like please give us a quick view of how is everything from your side. Yeah, definitely, definitely. One thing that I love and respect about you, Freak, is the that that's like you're not only really passionate about the things that you share and that you do, and that you cannot fake that passion. I know that, which is amazing, man. Because the only way that you get involved into a project if you believe first. um, and that is amazing to see because I see how so many people clicked with you uh, because of that passion, because of this why, and because you take the time to share and space with them, to talk to them, to be together, to answer their questions, and I think that is the fundamental thing that makes a community grow, not only from the beginning but afterwards. Because you're right, what makes this community scale is this consciousness that it is one by one. So that the thing that you're teaching the community how to build these relationships, to take time to talk to them, to one another, to create these spaces, all the things that we are doing early on in this community are basically the tools and the map of things that our ambassadors, our community leaders, and everyone regarding the community of DEGA is going to go out to the world and execute. In the future, there's going to be like local events. It's going to be more specific activities for countries, for regions, and this is the playbook that is being creating one day at a time to understand how to do that in the right way. So thank you for that, and thank you for taking the time to talk to the people, to talk to the community, to the ambassadors, and to everybody of us. It's very, very important, this work that you're doing right now. So, guys, yes, of course. So, guys, what I want to do next is that we're going to have in a couple of minutes an space where you can like bring your questions. But since Carlos is right here, he's going to be in all channels and everything that we do in the community channels. He's going to be looking at it, but we're going to have Carlos in some of these town halls, and I want to take advantage that he's right here to ask him some questions that we are had been asked by the community. Of course, many of these questions we're going to give like more specific answers in the upcoming weeks. But I would just like to hear Carlos for many of these questions that are happening right now in the community, right? So, Carlos, first of all, how do you see like the current state of blockchain, this the bear market and the things that are happening? Not going too deep into that, but what is the understanding of DEGA of the right, like the moment that is happening right now in blockchain, with all the things that are going on with FTX and stuff like that? What does it mean for DEGA, this bear market, this moment, and how is DEGA capitalizing on all the things that are going on in the blockchain market right now?
All right. Um, so the current situation, first, let me explain it kind of like in the boring sense, right? From the boring perspective, basically what we have is a conventional cyclical behavior, right? Like things are overhyped, they grow, they explode, then they deflate back to their more sensible state of things, right? This happens in everything, right? It happened in the internet in the 90s, in crypto. This is like what, the third or fourth cycle that we're in, and it's gonna continue to happen till the end of time, right? Like if it's not with crypto, it'll be with AI and so forth, right? So I know it's somewhat daunting to face this kind of crazy environment, right, where things just blow up and then they deflate back. Um, for some systems, they deflate back literally to zero, right? And it's been a hard year, right? Major projects failed. Um, Most of them failed due to human components, in the sense of people being extremely arrogant or extremely corrupt. That's the truth. Most of the problems that we have faced in this cycle are not even like technological problems. Technology in the industry has been moving forward steadily, right? But that's just human nature, right? Now, the fun aspect of it is that we're about to witness, because we can already kind of taste it, but what we're going to be seeing in the coming months and then years is the emergence of new, let's say, new types of systems, right? New types of digital connections within what we call the internet that will generate new behaviors, right? We sometimes forget that something, being a YouTuber, which is something that's like a no-brainer right now in terms of creating content and the value that you bring to your organization and your own brand name, right? It's something that's so obvious right now. Just like 6 years ago, it wasn't that big of a deal, right? It's not something that you would hear, oh, I'm a YouTuber, or it's super important for you to be on YouTube. It was cool, it was nice, it was useful, but it's not nowhere near where it is today, right? And in the future months and years, we will start to see, thanks to the emergence of the new AI systems, we'll see content explode a lot, right? So in this bear market, even though hype is low, I mean, hype is low for people that are concerned about getting rich in like 3 days, right? Because that's what a lot of people come to the industry for. But for those of us that are concerned about development, about building, about creating value, true value for other people, this is a really exciting time, right? As we're melding together what we call Web3 technologies with AI, and also with 3D interfaces and interactions, right? So yeah, that's kind of like the two sides of it, right? The cyclical economic aspect of it and the technological development aspect of it.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, yeah, I do agree. I remember, so one of the quotes that makes the most sense about technology, as you said, is that I think it was from the Institute of the Future. I don't know where is it. I think in the U.S. That they say that this quote every time that a technology emerges, which is most of the world overestimate the potential of a technology in the near future and underestimate the potential of the same technology uh, in the long run, right? Which is something that talks about a lot about human beings, which is most of the people believe in things happening very fast, but at the same time we forget a lot of times forgot that a lot of times that it was a process of adoption of many of the technologies that we are seeing today, or something that we're seeing as YouTube right now, is something that had done its own process. And Carlos, I'm curious because many of the companies right now in blockchain, they are like very silent, very cautious about everything. But in terms of DEGA, these this bear market, these things that are happening right now in the industry, like what has been the focus of DEGA in these months? Because while many organizations are trying to fly low, right? Uh, in DEGA, we're focusing on making progress. Progress, of course, in the technology, progress in deals progress in closing partnerships. Can you talk about this focus of progress that DEGA has been working on very fiercely in the last months, and that is going to be also part of the, Q1 of next year?
Sure, happy to do so. So the reason a lot of the companies are silent right now, and many startups aren't even launching. Like, I know people that were gonna work on a given initiative, and then they're like, "No, I'm not gonna do it now." Most of them, quite frankly speaking, is because they just care about making a quick buck, right? You ask them, what's the value that they're bringing to the table, what's their business model. Their model is creating a token and selling it to somebody for money, basically, right? That's their plan. They do that with tokens, with NFTs, and so forth, right? Um, we are focused on providing true value to people, right? Um, you could look at it as two audiences, right? There's a lot of sub audience, but the major groups are two. One is that developers, right? We want to make tooling that allows a junior developer to be able to create compelling Web3 experiences without, feeling like a Web3 experience in that sense. And the other audience is the end users, right, that will benefit from said systems, by enabling them to take advantages of all the great things that Web3 has, like self custodian ownership of assets, being able to connect to open API and open systems, but without them having to think about what's going on under the hood, right? The most common analogy is, give them a car that they can drive without having them, need to go and study mechanics to be able to use the car. So that's our focus, right? And that's what differentiates us from everybody else, right? And what we are doing right now is a multidimensional effort. We're doing both technological development, right? Most of actually of the API features that we wanted to release are already done. We're mostly working on, let's say, layer zero components. Well, and actually, before I go further, I should probably just give a little bit of an overview in terms of what DECA is from a technological perspective. So I don't have a phrase exactly to compress it all, but the best thing that we've come up with basically is a full stack infrastructure for Web3 gaming and metaverse development, right? We're gonna try to find something cooler than that. But it's a multi-layer platform, right? This means there are components that we're building that what people call layer zero, right? They're kind of like an abstraction that sits in between an application and a blockchain protocol. There's layer one components that we're building, and there's layer two components that we're building, right? And essentially, it's just the capability to be able to treat blockchains in a similar fashion to how you treat today, web services or web applications, right? Like if I need to refer to another someone else's website, I don't need to go and learn what their IP address is or anything like that. I just copy paste the URL and I can have their content within my system, within my application, very easily, right? So that's the kind of level of integration that we're aiming for, in the sense that you can have a game and then you can connect to an existing NFT marketplace, or you can connect to an existing DEX, and then come back to your game. Swap assets over there, come back to your game, keep using those assets, but without the excruciatingly painful process that you have to go through today, right? So that's the technological aspect that we're working on. We already have one metaverse that's building on with Deca technology. They're gonna release their first game with us. They've already done millions of dollars of sales in NFTs. We will be releasing their name once we do the public announcement. They just wanted that's something that they want to do together with us, and want to make sure that we plan the narrative well. But yeah, that'll be coming up, January at the latest, right? So that's one thing: technological development, commercial partnerships. We have many other companies that we're in conversations with right now. Just 2 days ago, I was talking with a Web3 game accelerator company that wants that's interested in having DEGA provide the technology for all the games that they're accelerating there. They have a think about, I think it was over 20 to 30 candidates there. And I could go on forever in terms of listings to companies that we're talking to right now. So actually, for the professor and myself right now, the biggest challenge is just to be able to manage all the opportunities that we have before us, and not only development opportunities and commercial partnerships, but also a lot of community building opportunities. There's more than one esports company that's interested in working with us, and they want to be, let's say, um, let's say our partnership for competitive gaming releases, right? And additionally to that, we're planning an event called the Dega Gateway. Although I'm thinking about a cooler name, but once I finalize on that decision, I'll share that. And that's gonna be a mixed
Carlos,
reality event.
Carlos, I'm sorry. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, just because that was going to be my last question. So I will ask the question so you can give us a little bit of context and perspective on the following, which is a lot of people in the community is asking about the milestones of DEGA as an organization. And even though we know internally that we are going to be releasing that with the exact dates of everything that is going to happen from here to next year, right? Can you give us a little bit of the milestones? Don't give dates, right? Because we that is one thing that we are going to communicate. But some of the milestones that we are looking forward for the next 6 to 12 months regarding we are going to release, for example, the light paper. We are going to release. We are going to have this event. We are going to really and the things that we can share right now, so everybody is aware and minded of the things that are going to happen, and that we are going to communicate that in the upcoming weeks with a specific dates and specific full roadmap for the full for next year, because that is a question that many people is asking right now. So
Mhm.
2, 3, 4 milestones that we have coming ahead for the organization, please. Also, the DECA Gateway is one of them. That's why I stopped you.
Sure, sure. Happy to do so. So, well, one thing is, I actually just to finish updating the roadmap, which we will be posting in the website. So you'll be able to refer to it there as well. But and as a quick premiere, there's gonna be constant releases in the sense of the work that we're doing with our partners. Part of that will be a bit private at the beginning until we do the publishing. But let's say that for the community, the major milestones that we're going to be reaching are, first off, we're going to be announcing the Dega Gateway event, even though it's going to be taking place in March. We're going to be announcing that probably the first week of January, and that's one of the biggest one of the things that has everybody excited. We have companies that have worked with artists such as Bad Bunny, other companies that are building AI based artists, and many other partners that are very, very interested in that event. So that one will probably be taking place around March, but we'll announce that in January. In terms of the technical aspects, the white paper will be released in January. And we will have the first game built on Tega released most likely in Q2 of next year. Um, Let me think about another major milestone. Well, we haven't announced the Tega Init program, so that one's already running, right? We already have partners working there. But that's something else that we have to announce. And we will be structuring as well the announcement for the Tega Avatar NFT collection. I don't want to spoil all the stuff there because that's like an entire call in and of itself, just because it won't be like what you guys are used to, in the sense of, oh, this is a NFT with a picture, right? And that's it. No. For us, NFTs are going to be core to the digital identity that people are going to have in the platform. It's going to be an integrated reputation system. It's an artistic expression as well. And it's going to be kind of like, let's say, literally your avatar within the DEGA ecosystem. But don't think about it kind of like in a virtual world sense. Think about it like a universal sense, um, from controlling everything from building infrastructure to connecting to the games that are integrated with DEGA. It's all going to be tied around the avatar NFTs that we're going to be creating. So we're going to probably announce that in January as well. So that one's going to be pretty cool. I think there's many other things, but they're like kind of like more micro components, like like the layer zero modules and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I don't think this is the right conversation for that.
Yeah. But that's perfect what you say. Like the most important thing for the community and for all game studios, gamers, and everyone surrounding that community of Vega is to be really open about the milestones, so everybody can keep take accountable of the things that is promising and that is focusing on delivering, right? As we like, as we always say, we are focusing on making progress. And those milestones that Carlos just shared are one of the key milestones that are going to happen next year. But of course, each one of them has its own, let's say, like project plan, right? Which is a lot of micro activities, like specific units that the same ambassadors that we have here are going to be part of that. We are like basically as a community training ourselves in order to take charge and to manage this Data Gateway event that we are having in March. That is going to be a challenge, but it's something very exciting that we want to do for the community, and that you guys, as part of this early community that we have, are listening, but that we are not going to communicate that to the rest of the world until probably January or something like that. But okay, Frick, do you have any questions before we get into opening the mic? So anybody can ask the questions.
Maybe
Carlos,
from my
From my
Richie.
side,
side,
Omar.
Omar.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, please, Richie.
Well,
Well,
Professor,
Professor,
can you
can you
hear
hear
me
me
okay
okay
now
now
in
in
Telegram?
Telegram?
I
I
did a
did a
fix, and
Yes,
I think it's working now. Perfect.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So no, from my side, I think all these progress updates, or what Carlos is sharing, all these milestones, going hand in hand to also what Frick was talking about before, of like how everybody has their gift or their own like skills. I call them superpowers. Like everybody have their own superpowers here in the community, and that's why also everybody's here, because we know how valuable you are. We know how eager to produce value also you are, and the idea here is to start sharing these milestones or these tools so you can start using them in combination with your superpowers to create even more value. So that's why also we want to share these things before we share with the entire world. So we start testing them and also building on top of them together with you guys. And that's also the I think the aim of these town hall meetings, to open the mic and hear you guys and start having a brainstorming, more constructive session, and not just you guys hearing us. So I think that's, for me, is like super important.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Richie.
And
So
something that I wanted to ask as a follow-up question to what Carlos was saying
yeah,
is, I think a big something very interesting of what Dega is doing is what Carlos just briefly touched upon, the the pain, the headache that is writing all your words, right, or explaining to somebody just getting into crypto, like when somebody gets convinced, or when you convince somebody, okay, just try this game or try this thing, and they start like, okay, just teach me how to, and you, the first step is you have to write all these words which make no sense to them, and it's kind of difficult. So I think this is something super cool and super powerful that Dega is going to bring into the table.
Carlos, if you want to maybe briefly share your opinion on that side on how to get rid of the words or the 24 words or the 12 words or all the methods that people now use for representing your private key.
Sure. So there's a little bit of work done on that side by existing teams, right? Perhaps some of you have seen the Web3 Auth service. They used to be called Tor.us. They were the first ones to try to tackle that. Um, the the points that they're lacking there is they need a little bit of integration. But well, let me start talking about the UX actually before I go into the infrastructure itself. So from a UX perspective, what users are used to is basically email and password, right? And nobody wants to write 24 words every time they need to create something. And integrating with multiple systems, it's useful to have a standard kind of like what we have in Web 2 called OAuth, which is what when you do Google logging with Google, logging with Facebook, that's what they're doing, right? So we're going to create kind of like that equivalent experience with Web3, right? So people will be like logging with DEGA, right? And that's a key private key management system, right? um, the way it works is, let me see if how can I narrow it down to avoid complications. Think of it like each of your devices having a key, right? And then those devices, just like how you work, for example, with Apple, each of those devices can unlock or onboard new devices. So that's one way to go about it. And then you use your stuff like emails or some other key recovery mechanism to be able to recover your keys in case you lose them. So some of you might be thinking, well, if another service has my key, then they can recover and cheat on me and take my money. Which is the case with some of the services out there that are trying to obfuscate private keys. So the way we're gonna deal with that in DEGA is that the recovery key has like a cooldown period so that nobody, they can't take the money or anything if one of the current devices blocks them, right? So if you see a key recovery request, right, and you have your phone or you have your laptop or whatever, and you didn't make that request, that means that that third party is trying to cheat you, right? So you can just block them, right? Because their key recovery system only allows them to request the recovery, but they don't actually manage anything within the smart contract, right? So that's kind of like the gist of it in that sense. And then on top of that, you can add multi-signature security schemes. Obviously, once for some people in the industry that they have hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, they probably need to add co-signers, right? Other people within either your business or your trusted circle to be able to co-sign transactions for after an X amount of money. And there will also be the capability, to hire third-party service providers that can do stuff like, ask certain secret passwords, or if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, do a provider that does a KYC on you, and then they provide the key once they verify it's you. So we'll be integrating multiple solutions to allow you to secure your system, right? So, and because one of the things right now is that a lot of the crypto people tell you, well, you have to manage everything yourself. Yeah, but a lot of people are only have like, a few $100, a few $1,000 in crypto, and we at the crypto industry, we're telling them you gotta apply the maximum level of security for like your $300. So that doesn't make any sense, right? So the way that we're building the system in DEGA is that you are onboarded first off quickly, right? Because your balance is literally zero when you're starting. So what's the big deal? And securely, of course. But you can keep adding layers of security and management as your funds go up, right? So you can start off simple, quick, join the game, join the metaverse, join any type of application and experience that you want to be a part of, And then as you become, let's say wealthier on the crypto sphere, or if you're moving more capital under the management of this of the DEGA key management system, then you can keep adding more signatures to increase your security, right? And all of what we're building is using pre-existing cryptographic standards. We're not inventing something that's new and risky in that sense. We're just structuring a workflow that makes sense. But yeah, so cryptography is pretty much well known at this point for private and public key management systems. So that's what we're working on to facilitate
Sounds
that.
super cool. Yeah, super cool. I think it's using cutting edge technology that already exists, but is not yet implemented in the nice UX that the users would or are used to. Basically, it sounds to me like adding the logging with DEGA next to logging with Facebook, logging with Google, logging with DEGA, the decentralized way of logging in, and then using that to divide your private key into different shares, so it kind of behaves a little bit like Google Authenticator, but decentralized. I think if I understood correctly, and I think this is going to be super powerful for web developers, game developers, to start getting into the crypto sphere and the metaverse gaming world without having to, I don't know, get their brains around all these cryptographic things. We got your back. We solved that for you. You just focus on what you're good at. So thanks a lot. That's a very good explanation of that, and I'm super excited about that feature. Okay, that was my question. Maybe, Professor, if you want to go on with the agenda.
Yeah. Just one quick thought is that like what just happened can be like the beginning of the DEGA developer sessions, which is like I think that that is something that we can start thinking about. Maybe getting together with like also other developer communities and stuff like that, because there's plenty of stuff to talk and to understand regarding technology. So that's something that it's on my mind right now, and that we are going to start to figure out how to launch that initiative, because it makes a lot of sense. So I expect these DEGA developer sessions in probably in January, of course, but it does make sense. So guys, this couple of minutes that we have left, open mic. Any questions from you guys? If you want to ask something, please raise your hand. We will give you the mic, the open space. We have Carlos, Fricton, Richie, myself, like anything, we're here. I see
Oh,
I see a hand.
we have
So
Ramon
yes,
Joe.
please, Raymond. Can you give Raymond access, Fricton? Okay, thanks.
Okay, he's here. Hey,
Okay,
man.
good day to everyone. Richie, Carlos, Fricton, and the professor. Thanks for having us here. This is a pleasure for all of us finally meeting Carlos, and we appreciate everything you do for the community and everything. So, please, my only question is, okay, I am a gamer, and we are all gamers here. I believe everyone here is a gamer. And what I am really interested in, and I just wanted to know, is you talked about the announcement of a game. So my only question is the game, we are like, do we have the game like ready for announcement, or is it just going to be announced and then we have to wait for another period before it gets, or before we get the launching? Thank you. That's just my question.
Yeah, great question.
How?
So we will be announcing the partnership with the game building development company, probably in January, right? And then the game will be released. Um, what I'm feeling is most likely April or May. On our side, we're ready already. We have all of our components ready to go. But as you all know, game design and making sure that the engagements and the mechanics to um, capture right the audience in terms of the experience that is being provided is properly designed, right? So that's mostly it. We have the Web3 components ready. They're mostly building the application layer. Size announcement in January and release probably April, May. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also, Redmond, it's important to know that because they are doing this in DEGA, we like we're going to have like this, let's call it a focus group, right? In which they are going to allow the DEGA community to test the game before it gets released, right? Because the input of all of us gamers is going to be really important to fine tune the game before it gets out, right? Fully. So be aware of that because that is a fundamental value proposition that we as the DEGA community give to the gaming studios. So just be aware of that because they're like we are eager to hear the community thoughts regarding the games that are going to be launched. Of course, always constructive and always focus on the good things that can be done. But yeah, that is something else. I think Frickton has a couple of questions, please.
Something like that.
Sure. So starting with liquid reality, well, yeah, and actually, I was saying Dega Gateway. I'm actually thinking about changing the name to Liquida, okay, which means líquida in Spanish, right? Y'all can tell me if you like that or not. But basically, the concept around liquid reality is right now you have to say VR or AR, and that usually means headsets, goggles, or stuff like that. And the concept around liquid reality is to make it ubiquitous, right, in one word. And again, going back to the concept of what a metaverse is for DEGA, which means blurring the line between physical and digital worlds, basically allowing you to do that universally across your devices, right? For example, in the event, we're going to have the performer who's going to be in a physical venue performing live. We're going to do a real-time mocap so he can also perform in virtual worlds. And then we'll use screens to be able to connect to function as windows between the physical venue and the digital worlds, right? So you'll be able to see between them and interact with them, right? So you don't need to buy a headset, you don't need to put on those special goggles or anything. You're just there, right? And the melding of the worlds is happening right before you without you having to apply any effort to that, right? So that's liquid reality. And then the other aspect is that you asked about game development. One of the key things right now that AI is enabling is the capability to generate content cheaply, right? So content has been king for the last few years, but now the new king is going to be engagement, right? Because it's all going to be about your capability to create engaging experiences, right? Which is goes back to gamification, and why everything will be gamified, right? Because making a video, an audio, an image, that's going to be really, really, really cheap as we move forward, right? So for DEGA, we are integrating tooling like that that will enable you to create games from your phone. That's our key goal. Think about it how TikTok empowered people to be able to become video producers, right? Obviously, it's not the same as using a professional tool, but it's good enough, right? Like it made literally over 1 billion people have become video producers, right, in a certain way. So that's kind of like the same concept that we're going to be bringing with the DEGA tooling. That app is going to be called Render, DEGA Render. So that's what we're going to be building and using to empower you to create that and monetize it, right? Because it's not only about, obviously creative expression is beautiful, but you got to pay rent, right? So you're going to be able to create your art, your metaverses, your games from your phone and monetize them globally, right? So it's going to be about your capability to do storytelling and to create engaging experiences, which is that's what's going to set you apart from someone else, right? So it's an equalizer, right? So it's up to you to be able to reach your potential, in that sense. Those were great questions. Thank you for that. I do have to drop because I have another call right now set up.
We all have to drop, so we can wrap
Yeah.
things up right now, guys. Thank you so much for being here. This is a town hall that is going to happen on a weekly basis, so stay tuned for all the news, the things that are going to be sharing with all the community. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, all Vega channels are open for all of you guys. We'll be in Telegram, Discord, and also on Twitter. It's going to be a lot of activity in the upcoming days. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
everybody.
joining.
Take care of the Jens.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See you in the channels.
Shout out my name.
Bye.
Shout